Welcome to our channel, where stories come alive and dreams take flight. Here, we believe in the power of storytelling to soothe the mind and enrich the soul. Our flagship series, The Story of the Silent Tree, invites you to journey into a world where nature and human experience intertwine. This tale follows a man's transformative encounters with an ancient tree, exploring themes of reflection, healing, and personal growth. We understand the challenges of today's fast-paced world, which is why our content is crafted to provide a peaceful escape, a moment to pause, reflect, and reconnect. Each story is thoughtfully narrated, accompanied by calming visuals and ambient sounds, creating an immersive experience designed to promote relaxation and mindfulness. Whether you're here to unwind after a long day, seek inspiration, or simply enjoy a good story, our channel offers a sanctuary for all. We invite you to subscribe and join our community, where every story is a step towards tranquility, and every visit is a return to yourself. Thank you for choosing to spend time with us. We look forward to sharing many more stories that touch the heart and soothe the mind. In a forgotten corner of the world, where the wind whispers secrets and time forgets to move quickly, there stands a tree. It is tall and ancient, its bark thick with the stories of centuries. Its branches stretch wide, like arms embracing the sky, and its roots sink deep into the earth, holding memories no human can fully understand. The villagers called it the Silent Tree, not because it lacked a voice, but because it never needed to speak. It simply stood there, season after season, year after year, century after century. Through storms and sunshine, war and peace, birth and death, the silent tree remained, unmoving, unshaken, unbothered by the chaos of the world around it. Many came to sit beneath it. Lovers carved initials into its bark. Children climbed its limbs. The elderly rested in its shade. Each of them left a part of themselves behind. And yet, the tree never asked for anything in return. One day, a man arrived, quiet, worn, heavy with the weight of things unsaid. His eyes were tired, his soul restless. He sat at the base of the tree, letting his back press into its rough, weathered trunk. He said nothing. The tree said nothing. And yet, a conversation began. He returned the next day, and the next, until he lost count. The tree had become his sanctuary, its silence louder than all the noise in his life. It didn't offer solutions. It didn't offer sympathy. It simply stood, solid, still, unwavering. The man began to notice things. The way the wind moved through the leaves like a lullaby. The way light filtered through its canopy, painting shifting patterns on the ground. The way insects danced around its roots, and the distant chirping of birds high above. The world slowed down, and for the first time in years, so did he. He started to remember. Not just memories, but feelings. He remembered what peace felt like, what stillness tasted like. He began to speak, not to the tree, but to himself. He talked about pain, about love lost, about things he never dared to say aloud. And the tree listened, as it always had. It listened to a boy who once ran barefoot through these woods, who dreamed loudly and laughed easily, who had buried his dreams under layers of responsibility and regret. The man looked up into the branches and saw something he hadn't seen in years, himself. Not as he was now, but as he once had been. And maybe, just maybe, as he could be again. The seasons turned. Autumn leaves fell like golden confessions to the forest floor. Winter snow blanketed the ground in quiet forgiveness. spring brought blossoms, soft and pink, like hope reborn. And summer bathed the tree in warm light, reminding everything beneath it to grow again. The man came through all of it. Sometimes he brought stories, sometimes only silence, but always he brought his truth. He met an old woman once, sitting quietly on the opposite side of the tree. They didn't speak at first. They didn't need to. Eventually, he learned her name, learned that she had come here as a child, and then again as a mother, and now as a widow. She told him something he never forgot. Some places, she said, carry the memory of who we used to be. This is one of those places. He realized the tree didn't just listen. It remembered. It remembered the footsteps of a father who once brought his daughter here every Sunday. It remembered a soldier who wept beneath its shade before leaving for war. It remembered a child who tied a ribbon to its branch and whispered a wish to the wind. It remembered everything, and still it stood. There was something sacred in that, something deeply human. Because don't we all just want to be remembered? Don't we all long for something, someone, to hold our stories when we no longer can? The man found himself changing. He smiled more. He slept better. He listened more than he spoke. The world didn't feel as loud anymore. It didn't feel as fast. One morning, he arrived to find a child playing near the roots, a little girl with curious eyes and wild hair. She looked up at him and said, "The tree told me you'd come." He laughed, surprised by the odd sense of truth in her words. They sat together for a while, watching the breeze move the branches. She asked questions he hadn't thought of in years. Do trees have dreams? Do they miss the people who stop visiting? Do they get lonely? He didn't know the answers. But somehow it didn't matter, because in her questions he saw wonder. And in her wonder he saw what the tree had given him, a return to simplicity, to presence, to stillness. He came less frequently as time went on, not out of neglect, but because he no longer needed to come every day. The tree had rooted something within him, a quiet strength, a patience, a resilience. One summer evening, he stood before the tree for the last time in a long while. His fingers brushed the bark gently. "You've seen me," he whispered, "all of me. Thank you." And then he walked away, not with sadness, but with peace. The tree remained. Long after the man was gone, long after his footsteps faded and the winds shifted, the girl grew up and brought her own children. The old woman passed, and her ribbon still fluttered from a high branch. Generations came and went. Technology rose, cities expanded, the world changed. But the tree did not. It remained in that forgotten corner, a quiet sentinel to the lives it touched. Its silence was never empty. It was full of stories, of sorrow, of love, of beginnings and endings. No one ever heard it speak, but everyone who came to it left with something unspoken, healed. Maybe we don't need words to teach. Maybe we only need presence, stillness, rootedness. The man, now much older, returned once more. His hair was silver, his steps slower, but his heart steady. He stood before the tree and smiled. You waited. And the tree, in its silence, confirmed it had. He sat beneath it like he did all those years ago, this time with no weight to release, only gratitude. The breeze whispered through the leaves, as if sighing a soft welcome. He closed his eyes, and time gently folded around him. Later, a young boy found him sleeping there, peaceful and still. He touched the man's hand and looked up at the tree. "Did you tell him a story?" he asked aloud. The tree said nothing, and yet it had. because its story had never been about the tree itself. It had always been about us, about those who come and go, who lose and find, who hurt and heal, who forget and remember. The tree just stood, and in doing so reminded us of who we are when the world is quiet enough to listen. It is still there now, rooted, strong, silent, waiting for the next person in need of a place to breathe, to feel, to remember, to grow. Because some lessons don't need to be shouted. They only need to be lived, like the story of the silent tree. And if you ever find yourself lost, heavy, or tired, just sit for a while beneath the oldest tree you can find. It might not speak, but it will always listen. And sometimes that's all we need. Maybe that's why the silent tree still stands. Not to be admired, but to remind us of stillness, of patience, of everything we can be when we stop trying so hard to be anything else. The tree is not magic, yet it heals. It is not human, yet it understands. It does not move, yet it changes everything around it. And somewhere, deep in its heartwood, it holds your story too, waiting for you to return, when you're ready to remember who you were before the world became too loud. So when you hear the wind rustle the leaves, listen closely. It might just be the silent tree, telling you it's time to come home. Thank you for spending time with us and immersing yourself in our story. If you found this content engaging, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel. Your support enables us to continue sharing more narratives with you. Also, feel free to share your thoughts or suggestions in the comments below. We value your feedback. Until our next story, take care and see you soon.